we need something different and fresh. So I'm glad that they shook things up. I mean, and I'm sure we'll talk about this if Harry ever comes on. Um, just Vegas, CBC being in Vegas was just a trip. It was like so different in some ways to me. And like I told Paul Gatza in the beginning, I was like, yeah, I couldn't tell our degenerates from the Vegas degenerates. And he was like, and then there were the fish degenerates. There was like a big fish
Yeah.
concert, I guess, at the Sphere. So they had to move the reception. And I'm like, as if there could be any more smoke in this house.
Yeah. Fish was ending Sunday right when all the craft brewers were coming in. And it was just like a perfect meetup there at the Venetian.
Created a new species.
Probably. Yeah.
I mean, I imagine some of them came in early to go to the fish
Yeah,
concert.
Oh yeah.
yeah, maybe. That's a good point. Look who decided to join us, all fresh and crispy with a white shirt and a hat that says something. Oh, he can't even hear me yet.
Now I can.
What does that shirt say?
Press publish. Oh, that's scary.
I saw this I saw this hat online and I thought, because Jordan, you know
Yeah.
that anxiety, that hesitation you get right before you hit publish. Did I screw up anything? I have that feeling every day.
Every day.
No, it never eases up ever.
No.
No. CVC for Vegas, huh? So did all three of y'all go?
Yes.
Yeah. I was only there for a day. These brave soldiers toughed it out for several days.
I had a legit excuse, but I was kind of glad to have it. Craft Brewers Conference is fun, but I'm getting to an age where it's a little much. It's what were y'all's impressions compared to previous years?
Well, I'll go super fast first because I was only there for a day. I went to see the Benny Ashburn Fawn Weaver keynote. And it didn't disappoint. I mean, I thought it was awesome that they had so many Black-owned brewers and they had a big turnout, right? And I mean, that was really the theme of the conference. And so that was cool and energizing. I think Bob said that there were 9,500 attendees, which I think is, to me, is higher than I would have guessed. Because I had heard some rumors that like maybe there were some problems with they were anticipating a lower turnout, but according to him at least, it sounded like it was normal. But I'll pass it off. But just a couple highlights from Fawn's chat I thought was interesting. I mean, there were also some people that said like, well, why do they have somebody in whiskey speaking? But I think it's pretty obvious. I mean, obviously, first of all, she has a company that it's Black owned and female owned. So that's obviously topical because we're trying to make the industry more inclusive for the businesses themselves as well. But, she's got like a triple digit 4-year CAGR. She's valued at $1 billion. Although she said that she was approached for a $2 billion sale that she turned down. Right. And I think anybody in BevAlc would give their arm and leg for those stats. So that was interesting to me too. The other thing that was interesting to me is that she basically, the CB or the Craft Brewer Association is giving her all this money to speak at the show, and she's basically like, small sucks. If you stay small, you die or you get acquired at like a distressed rate. So, grow or die basically. And also like if you're in this for it to get easier, quit now. But, and then she had like this biblical end quote, like, but if you're climbing that mountain for a purpose, let no one knock you off that mountain you're climbing. So I just thought it was really, really interesting and inspirational. And
why is it worth $1 billion? What kind of numbers are they doing over there?
I don't know where they fall in terms of actual, gallons, but they're the 7th most visited distillery in the world, right? They're the most awarded American whiskey in history. And they got to have some cash flow. They just acquired last year a cognac brand, and she basically told the CBC audience that they're about to acquire a tequila brand. We don't know which one yet, but she said she was putting down roots in Jalisco. So I mean,
listen, if you want to play and prove spirits, you got to have a tequila or some kind of agave, something going on. That's the only thing that's growing over there. Well, Jordan, what were your impressions?
Yeah, definitely a whole lot diversity on stage. Not just putting like the champion like black owned companies, but also there's a woman, Leah Cheston, that is the chair. So that was kind of a theme running throughout the show. But as far as numbers and business, I think it was a similar story to the past couple of years of challenging times, but kind of doing okay is how they put it. And we look at Scan, but BA has their own kind of data, for small and independent brewers, and they're down about 1%, up 3% in dollars. And they tried to kind of phrase it as, we're doing okay in wider, broader context compared to overall beer, compared to hospitality, leisure. And I think the call was similar to years past as well, of just trying to think of ways to make consumers look at craft differently, And I think that is kind of been the call for a while now, just because when you think of craft beer, it's like, well, this is a good IPA, this is a better IPA, this is, and it just goes down the list on typical craft beer styles. And what they're pushing for is just something that makes people say, oh, I've never heard of that. And something different, something, it doesn't have to be a style necessarily. I think Bart's call was to do anything to make people curious about craft.
Anything but a hazy IPA, please.
Yeah.
And Bart said up on stage that IPA isn't growing anymore. There are sub-segments of IPA, but overall, it's not growing anymore, which it's something you don't expect to hear, but it's not surprising when IPA is half the category, half the craft category. Yeah. So it's gotten huge.
The BA famously has changed the rules over the years of who can be in the BA to the point where even I'm confused. And I've been doing this for years. So tell me, like, I'm going to name a brewer and you tell me whether they're in the BA or not.
Okay, I like this.
Okay. Let's just say New Belgium.
They are not.
Right. Because
that's right. Because Kieran, that's right.
Which also is
Bells.
For Bells, yeah.
Okay. Firestone Walker.
They are.
Yes.
Okay. Why are they in the BA? Doesn't somebody have a stake in them like Kieran?
It's Duvel.
Duvel does.
Duvel. Yeah. That's what I meant. The genealogy is getting really tough in craft beer, I have to say.
Yeah.
I mean, who owns Brooklyn Brewery? Do we know?
Brooklyn, but Kieran has
a minority
24.99.
Okay, so is okay. Brooklyn is in the BA?
Correct.
Okay. So I noticed they were growing about 1% growth. How much of that is Yuengling? All of it?
A good bit, because Bart said that if you took out, I think, the top 3 or top 4 regional brewers, that number would go from plus 1% to minus 4%.
It's only minus 4. So is Boston Beer Company a member of the BA?
They are. only their beer, though.
Yeah. And also, the other one that's confusing is I think Monster Brewing Co. is still a member of the BA, right?
Monster's in there.
Yeah. Monster Brewing Co. Part owned by Coke. Still in the BA. I mean, it's
okay. So we're pointing out the ridiculousness of these rules. They've been going on for so long, and they've tried to jump through their own ass so many times to keep some people in and some unfavored people out, and it's become political and ridiculous. And it leads me to wonder, what is the BA's relevance today? Tell me what Bob Pease said of why you should be a member of the BA. Because they're anti-growth. Anybody that grows, they kick them out.
They're definitely, I think, relevant for very small brewers, and that is the majority of their membership. I forget the stat nowadays, but I think 90% of BA members produce less than 1,000 barrels.
Right.
And so it's very taproom, brew pub oriented.
Right. So the BA is there really to fight their distributors.
They're there to try to ensure access to market for the smaller brewers.
Yeah.
Did you eat hot sauce before you came on this pod?
I am in a sour mood, as you can
can tell. Yeah.
Bianca, was this your first time at CBC?
No, it was my second, but I don't ever want to be on your bad side, Harry.
So Bianca, what words of praise do you have for the CBC?
Please tell us.
I mean, some things that stuck out for me from Bart's talk were he was reluctant to point to any one way that craft brewers could grow. Like Jordan said, he wouldn't call out any styles, which I think he did last year in Nashville. But he did kind of hinge it on everyone needing to innovate, which we've heard for a while. But along those lines, he said that 600 brewers now hold a spirits permit.
That's good.
So that was kind of interesting to me. And at the same time, brewing capacity is only about half used. So they have a lot of space to,
Yeah, there's a lot of iron out there.
yeah, they have a lot of space to play in other areas. And so
It's a
that,
good time to start a craft brewer. I mean, you can basically get the equipment for free. If I were a young man or a young woman, I would buy really cheap equipment, and I would brew beer and distill, because you have to brew beer before you can distill anyway. It's the same thing. You have to make a mash, so you might as well distill. Let me give the BA some props. One of the things they have done is really work hard on the inclusive part, because as we know, I mean, all we have to do is look at Triumph, the insult dog. That segment was that on Conan?
Yeah, it was.
At GABF. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and that was at the Great American Beer Festival, but it was hilarious, and it was a huge problem, and it's why they're not growing. Craft beer is a millennial creation, and it's consumed by limited. They have not cracked anybody younger than that, and Gen Z is more multicultural, and it just hasn't captured their fancy. And so in that regard, I think the BAA is making strides. Was Jim Cook there?
Not that I saw. That's the thing too about CBC. It's not in terms of people showing up from the brewers. I feel like it's not the top ranks what it used to be. Although he does the GABF, he does a brunch around GABF usually. But I also think there were people who were not crazy about the Vegas location. Like,
yeah,
I can think of at least one very tenured craft brewer that was like, who the hell thought of that? That was,
I need to bring it to San Antonio. We can do it.
Well, they tried. That was COVID year.
Oh, yeah.
So that was a big bummer. We were so psyched. Now we get to host Molson Coors. Speaking of Molson Coors,
yeah,
we got some big news there. Couple items of news there.
Are you referring to Citibank's downgrade?
I sure am. That, and I mean, we covered Citibank's downgrade, and that obviously coincides with the scan data coming in where they start to really show some softness. But I mean, it's just kind of writing on the wall, right? So Filippo Falorni, I think I said his name right, from Citi downgraded Tap to sell yesterday. And I think he's the second maybe on the street. Maybe there's one or two more. I know Wells Fargo has a sell on them too. But basically, what everybody's been thinking all along, that when comps set in, it's going to be harder for them to grow, obviously. And some of the slowdown showed up in the latest week. And they do expect a decent Q1 because, they will have overshipped. But then starting Q2, should see it. And, Miller Lite, Coors Light, the biggest two beneficiaries of the AB slowdown last year. I think how many basis points? I think they attributed Coors Light and Miller Lite have gained 80 basis points and 50 basis points of year-over-year market share 2024 to date, I guess, respectively. Yes, yeah. I guess that end time frame. But anyway, I mean, the point being that they are the biggest gainers and thus have the most to lose, which it is interesting that Molson Coors rhetoric has been so upbeat despite these obviously eminent comps. And so I'm sure Jordan has some to say on this as well.
I didn't think it would happen this quick. I thought it might have been a kind of more of a gradual decline. I thought they would probably, Coors Light and Miller Lite would still be up in the beginning of this because they were up double digits. And then as soon as these comps set in, it was tough to see, that initial frame because there was some Easter timing, but they were down then. And now with the Easter timing out of the way, Molson Coors, Miller Lite, Coors Light are all down. And I don't think that
Now, answer me this. Their comps are going to get worse, right? Like
I
in
was,
June?
yeah, I was just about to say these aren't even the toughest comps yet.
Right.
So this is still kind of on the gradual shift over to them. And I mean, it's surprising to see it hit a wall that fast, I think.
I guess we and the analysts should have seen it coming because really nothing's changed except for the comp. And we know what the comps is and what it's going to be. The denominator we know, we just don't know the numerator. And the thing about it, I was on a conference call yesterday with about a dozen European analysts, and that they were very curious about that. And it seems like they recognize the challenges that Molson Coors is going to face here over the summer. And the bottom line is that AB is outspending everybody. And so I think it is going to be a rough summer. And I think really who's going to have the roughest summer is going to be Pabst, because the Fort Worth brewery strike is really hitting them hard. And I haven't talked to Paul about that or anything. The reason I say that is that Millicent and I went to like 3 different bars and restaurants in the last week, and all of them were out of stock on Lone Star. And when we asked, what's up, and they're like, we can't get any. We've ordered it. It's not like, and so they're, if San Antonio's out of stock on Lone Star, I'm sure that they're just getting hammered. Plus, they're also running up against some tough comps, and Yingling too.
Yeah, well, and I think that's kind of what we talked about in covering those trends. Is it was anticipated that those beneficiaries, might see a reversal once comps set in, but AB is also not growing, even though they're back to easier comps, and so now kind of everybody besides Constellation in New Belgium are down, and 80% of the top 10 suppliers declining, and it's probably going to get worse. So it might be really, really ugly.
I haven't decided yet whether the industry is having an issue. The industry is it did fine for the first 2 months, and then it just tanked as far as scan data. The one thing is that we had an eclipse, and so people were moving around the country, and then that Easter timing. I talked to John Lane last week at Winking Lizard, and he said his business hadn't been better. They're kicking ass. Now that's just Ohio, and the eclipse was in Ohio. The full eclipse was in that zone, so he had a lot of tourists coming in. But there's been some weird weather patterns too. Let's just go ahead and blame the weather. That's what we do here in the beer business. I think the next wave of scan data, I'd be surprised if it wasn't really strong.
Strong? Oh, because of what just happened.
Yes.
I think we're going to have a tough summer because Texas is supposed to have a really wet, active hurricane season because I guess La Nina or whatever. And obviously we are tied more or less with California for being the biggest beer drinking, state. So I think it could be a tough year for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Especially with who knows how long this strike is going to last. Like that is.
Yeah, that's a whole nother subject, but everybody's been feasting on the carcass of seltzers, and that carcass is no longer able to be fed. And so I think what's happening right now is that everybody's feeding on the other carcass of premium lights, and that where premium lights go, the category goes. I thought it was also interesting that sub premiums have inched up a little bit. We may be seeing the beginning of actually, I've been saying this for 2 years, right?
This time, recession.
People are running out of money, and people, are trading down or whatever. Yeah. But every time I say that, it's not true. Spending just continues to rock. I don't know where they're getting money to spend. Maybe it's credit
cards
and the gig economy.
It is. It's the credit cards. So yeah, interest rates are up. It's just I don't know where all this cash is coming from, but God bless them.
My sister texted me this morning complaining that a breakfast sandwich and a hash brown at McDonald's is over $10 now in California.
Ridiculous. And listen, props to McDonald's breakfast sandwiches. If I have to have one breakfast sandwich, that's where I'd go. The sausage McGriddle. Do you know that one of my friends from high school invented the McGriddle?
Really?
True story.
The McGriddle is delicious. That was so well done in terms of our first sponsorship, McDonald's. We went big.
Yeah.
Like, I am so proud.
Hashtag promo, hashtag ad.
That's exactly how we'll do it.
And I'd like to just give a shout out to Margin Minder right now from Salient. Margin Minder, we love you. If you aren't minding your margins, what are you doing out there?
What are you doing? Hopefully eating a McGriddle.
Yeah.
So
I wanted to ask one question related to scan data real quick. It's just kind of an informal poll for everybody. All right. If let's just use Truly. I think Truly is a good example. Truly has been down 22% the past couple of years. If you woke up and hopped in scan data and they were down 5% year to date, would you say that's an improvement? Or would you say that they're actually down 27% because they were down 22% last year?
Well, if you're going to do 2 years, if you're going to layer this shit on us, I mean, you know what? Get used to it, because we're going to have to do a lot of 2-year layers for the rest of the year, just like we did during COVID, because last year was so goofy with Bud Light. I think they're losing share of seltzer still, but I would say improvement
of beer for sure.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to get, as you said, Harry, we're gonna have to get used to that, because are we gonna reset the clock for, April 2020 kind of going from here on out? Because I think a lot of people are gonna disagree with what's improving, what is just less bad, and it's gonna be an issue for everyone. But if we are kind of rigid in that, I think that could be tough on beer, because it's a declining category, and most of the biggest brands outside of Constellation and Modelo, they've all fallen from their peak. I don't know, but it is something to think about going forward. So
yeah,
I think the best way to get around that is just share market share, kind of share changes, filter the noise out, but still, as far as percent change year over year, we're just gonna have to do year over 2 years ago.
We should do like an August Madness bracket. We pick our Bevalk winners to see who gains the most share by August.
Yeah,
that would be fun.
Well, the week's almost behind us. Got a good weekend ahead of us, and I'll be back at it Monday morning early. Well, I'll be back at it Sunday.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what
You're setting yourself up.
Yeah. Well,
That's
like,
what you need to hear. You're like, wait, Monday? Screw that.
That's fine. You can put out a late issue then.
All right. Well, y'all have a good weekend. Take care.
You too. Bye.